The chandeliers in the great hall blazed like captured stars, throwing golden light across marble floors polished so brightly they reflected the faces of the wealthy guests. Everywhere there was laughter, clinking glasses, and murmurs of admiration at the sheer extravagance of the event. The millionaire's wife, Layla, walked among them like a queen, diamonds cascading from her neck and wrists, her lips painted with the confidence of someone who knew she controlled the room. For her, the wedding was not about love or family. It was about spectacle, about proving that her wealth and power could silence all doubt. She relished being the center of attention, the orchestrator of both beauty and fear. But in the shadows of the glittering celebration stood Rosa, a maid whose body carried the weight of exhaustion and a child she had yet to meet. 7 months pregnant, she moved quietly through the chaos, balancing trays and fulfilling orders while fighting against the strain in her back and the swelling in her feet. Her eyes revealed a softness, a fragility that contrasted the hardness of her mistress's gaze. Rosa had never imagined herself in this world of chandeliers and silk gowns. She was there only out of necessity, desperate to survive and protect the life growing inside her. She prayed the night would pass without incident. Leela, however, noticed Rosa's quiet attempts to blend in. With a smirk, she decided to make an example of her. Raising her glass, she silenced the crowd and, with cruel delight, declared that the maid would now sing a song to honor the bride and groom. The hall filled with laughter and whispers. Rosa's face drained of color as she clutched her belly, stammering that she could not, that she had no voice for such a crowd. But Layla's eyes turned sharp, her words laced with venoms. "You will sing, or you will no longer serve in this house." It was not a request, but a command that pressed Rosa against the wall of humiliation and survival. The hall grew silent as Rosa stepped forward, her heart pounding. She felt as though she were being led to judgment, every gaze piercing her soul. Her first note was fragile, trembling, almost swallowed by the vastness of the room. A few guests snickered, expecting her to collapse under the weight of her fear. But Rosa closed her eyes, breathed deeply, and let her voice rise again. This time it carried a strength no one anticipated. Each note flowed like water from a hidden spring, pure and unpolished, telling stories of sorrow, resilience, and hope. Her song filled the hall with a kind truth that diamonds and silk could never purchase. The guests, once amused, now sat spellbound. The orchestra, once ready to mock, lowered their instruments as though ashamed of their rehearsed perfection compared to the raw honesty of Rosa's song. Even the bride's eyes glistened with tears as the maid's voice painted pictures of love and loss, of a soul battered yet unbroken. For the first time that evening, the opulence of the wedding faded into the background, and what remained was the haunting beauty of one woman's courage. Then, from the far side of the hall, the millionaire himself, Hassan, stepped forward. He had watched silently, his heart stirred by the maid's strength and the cruelty of his wife. He could no longer stand idle. When Rosa's final note trembled into silence, the applause erupted, but Hassan lifted his hand to quiet the crowd. His voice, steady and commanding, carried across the hall. "This woman has given us more than all the wealth displayed here tonight. She deserves our respect, not our ridicule." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Lila's face twisted with shock and rage, but her husband's eyes did not leave Rosa's trembling figure. He crossed the floor to her, gently taking her hand, lifting her from where she had bowed in shame. "From this day," he declared, "you will not serve as a maid in this house. You will be honored and cared for, and your child will know dignity." The hall exploded in whispers, some calling it scandal, others calling it justice. Rosa's tears streamed freely. Her knees weak not from fear this time, but from relief and gratitude she could not express in words. In that moment, she was no longer invisible. Lila's carefully constructed facade cracked. She had orchestrated the humiliation, but instead she was exposed before her guests as cruel and small. Her diamonds no longer seemed to sparkle, her beauty dimmed by the shadows of envy and pride. She tried to laugh it off, to dismiss it as a jest, but her husband's unwavering stance left no room for pretense. Rosa had risen, and in her rise, Lila's power waned. In the days that followed, the story of the pregnant maid's song spread beyond the walls of the wedding. People spoke of the raw voice that silenced a hall of the rich, and of the millionaire who defied his own wife to honor her. Rosa was no longer just a servant, she became a symbol of dignity found in the unlikeliest of places. She was given rest, care, and the chance to prepare for the birth of her child in peace. The moment that had been meant to break her had instead remade her. And so, the tale lived on, whispered in gatherings and remembered by those who had witnessed it firsthand, that true wealth is not found in gold or jewels, but in compassion. And that power can shift in a single moment when truth pierces the facade of pride. This has been another story from Echo Tales, where voices rise, truth shines, and lessons echo far beyond the moment.